Journalist Elena Vaitsekovskaya assessed the prospects of American figure skater Ilia Malinin in the new Olympic cycle. Amidst the latest media frenzy surrounding Ilia Malinin, I thought about this. Ilia was absolutely perfect for the Milan Games, both technically and image-wise. A god of quads, a terrifying quad axel in his arsenal, a raspberry twist as a link between two spins at the end to really knock everyone out. All of this combined made Ilia not just a favorite, but a person impossible not to talk about. If a skater truly intends to compete at the 2030 Games, they need to approach them with the same strength in every way, and the question arises, at what expense? Jumps are more difficult. Because the limitation on the number of jumps plays into the opponent's hands, they can get rid of a problematic element by relying on more confident ones. The former ease will likely be gone. It's already waning, as Ilia matures, becoming more powerful, but also heavier. He won't stand out with tricks like the raspberry twist or backflip. Yes, he could pull off a unique, never-before-tested variation like a backflip with a twist physically. It's not as difficult as it looks, but there's a catch. Of all the athletes currently jumping somersaults, including girls, Malinin's jump technique isn't the best. His technique is rather messy, and that's critical if you're aiming to make the jump more challenging. Choreography isn't Ilia's strong point either. Of course, it's a matter of taste, and you can disagree with me, but I'm inclined to believe that Ilia's skating was unique primarily due to its technical content, not its choreography or understanding of the music. So, the axel remains his only trump card. But will this be enough to fight for gold? Vaitsekovskaya wrote, Malinin is the god of intrigue. He's staying. Ilia Malinin is a master of riddles. First, he puzzled everyone with the announcement of major changes, and then announced that he was leaving for the season. Now that's an adventure out of nowhere. On July 26, the quad god intrigued everyone on social media by posting a vague message in his stories. Big announcement on Monday, July 27th. It's time for something new. The end of one thing can lead to the beginning of something new. A few hours later, he piqued interest. I think it's time. Grateful for many years. In the everyday world, such announcements suggest something grand, the end of a career. A change of coach, some incredible collaboration. But in the world of figure skating, a big announcement can mean anything. From the launch of a paid Telegram channel to a new hairstyle. Ilia's Russian roots made themselves felt. The new, as the saying goes, turned out to be the well-forgotten old. Malinin announced that he would compete in the new season and is aiming for the 2030 Olympics. A lot has happened over the past few years, and I want to say that I am very grateful for both what I've done myself and for what the people around me have done to help me get to this point. I never thought I'd do this now, but it feels like the time has come. I've always believed that every end is the beginning of something new. The time has come for something new, for something different. The caption at the end of the video, looking to 2030, Part 1. Season 26/27, coming soon. So, outwardly, nothing has happened. Ilia will continue to compete as he has. But it's clear that this decision stems from an internal struggle and reflection on the season, in which Malinin failed to win individual Olympic gold. Back in mid-May, the American said he might take a season off. In the spring, he gave several interviews in which he blamed many but not himself for his failure in Milan, from his entourage to journalists. I'd like to take a little break from figure skating. The last 4 years before the Olympics have been very difficult, so I think I want to take a break. A week later, he adjusted his position. Everything will depend on my inner feelings. I think that's the best way to put it. If I feel like I want to return to competition, then, of course, I'll return to the season. If not, then I don't think so. According to the documents, Ilia never left. He made this national team. The list, for example, doesn't include Chalk and Bates, who announced a break but not their retirement. Malinin is also among the Grand Prix participants, registered for this November 13th to 15th and Japan November 27th to 29th. And now it's clear that his instincts dictated he not take a break. At one point, it seemed Ilia would actually skip the season. Tired of competitions and the constant expectation of unconditional victories, he posted training videos less and less frequently, and there's still no information about new programs. He had plenty to do even without figure skating. Malinin has never hidden his love of glitz and glamour. What can we say, considering his social media handle is God of Quads? So it's no surprise that his life has been more red carpet than ice lately. So what has he been up to? Malinin appeared in a piece for the non-profit publication Sero magazine, which focuses on culture, discovering young talent, and art. Next up was Dazed, a magazine specializing in fashion, music, and culture. Ilia was included in Time's top 100 most influential people in sports, ranking in the icons category alongside Messi, LeBron, Sinner, and Alcaraz. He also attended the gala in New York. A fashionable look was a must-knit three-piece suit with joggers and wide-heeled shoes. He also dropped by the Cerro magazine party, wearing a mesh t-shirt under his jacket and a massive chain around his neck. Naturally, the magazines featured not only photo shoots but also interviews, in which Ilia even discussed matters of existence. He was also quite pompous in his discussions of sports. Medals don't define a person. That's the way I think now. It's no longer about winning medals. I want to change the sport. I want to elevate figure skating to a new level of attention. I'm starting to see that now. The sport, especially ours, is demanding not only physically but also mentally. The fact that you have to take into account so much pressure, anxiety, media. All of these things affect your performance. Sometimes you just have to try to stay calm, cool, focused. This is what I'd like to teach young athletes. How to cope, understand it, and find balance. Malinin continued to participate in shows, even showing off his fire during training. For example, this is how he prepared for Sun Valley Summer in July. 4 back-to-back somersaults. Football captivated the United States in the first half of the summer. Ilia succumbed to the fever and attended the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. Malinin has had a busy life since the Olympics, but he still found time for competition and motivation. Are you already expecting a new Ilia on the ice? Russian Grand Prix medalist and Russian Junior Championship bronze medalist Artem Kovalev speculated on the reasons for American figure skater Ilia Malinin's disappointing performance at the 2026 Olympics. What do you think happened to Malinin at the Olympics? My opinion is that he really wanted a record, and that desire for a record took away his medal. What do you remember most about the Milan Olympics? Misha Shadorov. He was initially stunned by his third-place finish. Then he realized that second place was fine. And when Ilia made a mistake and realized he was the Olympic champion, and he deserved it. The other favorites are to blame for giving up their medals. Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva shared which skaters' performances from the 2026 Olympic Games were most memorable to her. Did you watch the Milan Olympics? Which athletes stood out to you? Who were you personally rooting for? I watched the Olympics. I liked Elisa Liu, her energy, the thought she puts into her skating, it's all truly amazing. I was really rooting for Adelia and Ilia Malinin too. I watched his performance with tears in my eyes. As an athlete, I understand how difficult it can be when you realize you can't change anything. Valieva was quoted as saying by the magazine Ice of the Moscow Figure Skating Academy.